I'm standing over there and suddenly like a how you were saying vegetable, hey, Boman Irani, Boman Irani, कोने एक आदमी है संजय भाई, मैं सूट लिया, सूट पहनने लगा और मेरा नाम अनाउंस हुआ पीछे जाके. I could not go all the way around because I would never make it. Went on stage from behind, from the service ramp, and got my first award. I'm telling you, what am I saying? It's something that I wanted to do, something that I want to be part of. And that's the beauty of it. I will round this part of the story up a little later. Now let's talk about acting. More than acting, I'd like to talk about screenplay. And for that, I will just run you through some basics. This part of the story is over. And I'll run you through some part of basics. And I have two of my very darling friends over here, Prajakta and Jitu. Understand what I'm trying to say. We unfortunately don't have the screen because the films have been loaded, preloaded, so we couldn't. So I'm going to just use this line and your imagination to tell you what the structure of a screenplay is, and then we will try to understand acting from that. Okay? Okay, how many of you have seen the Mehta Boys? Not bad, yeah? You saw it? Go and sit behind. The Mehta Boys, we'll talk about it. If you want to ask me questions on the way we structured Mehta Boys. But still, I'd like you to get to a structure of a general screenplay, the 3-act structure. And then we'll try and marry it with acting. All right? We start here. The opening image. Okay? 7 minutes to 8 minutes to 9 minutes into the screenplay, you have something called the inciting incident. Something that derails the normal status quo life of your protagonist and puts him onto a journey or requests him like a call to action because something unusual happened in his life or her life and he gets derailed. कुछ बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट आया, कुछ आफत है, कुछ वर्ल्ड वॉर हो गया, या तो वर्ल्ड वॉर में है और वो सोल्जर है like 1917 and he has been sent across the no man's land to deliver a message. That becomes his call to action. So this has to happen somewhere here. Somewhere on the 25% mark, he actually goes onto that journey. All right? On the midpoint, we have what is known as the midpoint. And the midpoint is not something that you turn around and say, "Arey yaar, ye bahut bada revelation hua hai." You can have a revelation. But the midpoint, I will talk to you a little more in detail of what the midpoint stands for. Please be patient with this. It's important. Right? Then he starts very seriously dealing with the antagonist to win over the day. And somewhere around here, the 75% mark, he almost succeeds. But something happens. And whatever he succeeded comes crashing down. And all chances of him achieving his insurmountable goal are crushed. That's your all is lost moment. Now the third act starts where the protagonist turns around and says, "I can't give up, even though there's no chance of victory." And he starts from zero, like it is the beginning of the film, like it is his new status quo. And he says, "Chalo, ek last try marte." So he goes all the way and starts winning again. And then there is another twist over here which he almost fails. But he comes through and we have the victory or the loss. It doesn't matter. Now, mota mota mil gaya? Now what you'll ask me is, what's this got to do with acting? Everything. If you do not understand the rhythm of the story, and some people do not follow this structure, if you do not understand the rhythm of the story, how are you pitching yourself as at which part of the screenplay? You understand what I'm saying? Now, at the midpoint, I'm going to talk about the midpoint a little longer than the other points because it is a little unusual from what we think the midpoint is. And the midpoint says the protagonist gets a false victory or a false failure. And that why is it a false one? Because it's a kind of victory that he thinks he likes but is not actually there. Who has seen somebody who's watched the Mehta Boys? Just put up your hand. All right. Which one of you is a writer from the people who watch Mehta Boys? Yeah? Would you stand up and tell me your name, please?
Hello, sir. My name is Shugoto.
Shugoto.
Yes, sir. So I'm from Kolkata.
I would imagine where else would the Shugoto come from? Tell me, brother. So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yes, sir.
I pitched you over here with an opening image, the opening image of Mehta Boys. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. The opening image is the protagonist who is playing your son.
Right.
He's packing he's slowly getting ready for office.
Right. But the opening image actually is a dirty ceiling.
Yeah, dirty ceiling.
Right? What, over here, somewhere around the 6th or 7th or 8th minute, there is an inciting incident that derails his normal life. And his normal life is he cannot go and face his bosses. What is that inciting incident? Can you tell me?
There's a conference going on.
Right.
And the lady walks in and
Gives him a check.
Yeah, gives him a check.
Which is bad news. Fantastic. What is the end of Act 1 breaking into Act 2, starting a new journey, which is an unfamiliar journey?
So he goes back to his hometown.
Right.
And the door opens. He meets his sister outside.
Right.
And the door opens and he walks in.
That's not the new journey.
Yeah.
That is, from here to here,
Yeah.
he has to decide to get into an unfamiliar place.
Yes.
So let me tell you, when his father comes, you all know more or less the plot of the film, right? Plot, char point hai, main aapko bata hi deta hu. The plot is when the father comes to live with him, it is going to make him uncomfortable, and that is the journey from here to here, which is the conflict area. Conflict area. From here, this is the setup. This is the conflict till the all is lost. And this is the resurrection or finding some kind of compatibility. So his father comes home, that is somewhere here. It's a very structured structure. What is the midpoint, can you tell me?
So, as far as from
Yes. No, you're doing very well, by the way.
From my perspective, it was the point when he was about to board the flight when the first time the flight got delayed.
All right.
And the second time when he was frustrated and he was about to leave. The second time.
All right, the second time. Excellent.
And the boy was left all alone in the house. So
no. Let me tell you, there's a point where they're both lying in bed together and they're staring at the ceiling.
The broken ceiling.
Right. They are in bed, they are together, but not the way they want it to be. Okay. What is the all is lost moment? Yeah, can you tell me?
Yeah, when at the very end they could not find solace in the relationship.
Sorry?
The rain scene where
Yeah, it starts from there. In the rain, where it becomes the worst version of them. Where they can't see eye to eye. But the all is lost moment is actually when, after that, he turns and says, "Mujhe ghar jana hai." And he goes back home. We are back to square one. From here, we are back to square one, where it all started. तो जितनी भी मेहनत की हम लोग यहाँ तक आने के लिए हम लोग वापस लेके गए. That's the structure. And that's an all is lost moment. Plus, he gets fired from his job. Plus, his girlfriend leaves him. Everything that he hoped to do or achieve, his girlfriend leaves him, his boss says, "I don't know why I pay you," and his father goes back and their friendship is worse off than they were at the beginning. Worse off. Now we got to start the movie from here. All right. Why am I telling you all this? And then, of course, he has to start the movie again, where he starts with presenting the new idea. After the all is lost moment, there is a moment, it's called in movie structure, it's called the dark night of the soul. Is when you try and understand who you are, what went wrong, What do I do with myself? And you dig deep in the deepest recesses of your soul. It's called the dark night of the soul. That is when he's drinking on the balcony alone. And he says, my God, and he gets the idea. He starts with the idea. There's a mid-act twist where the boss turns on and tells him, ye bakwas hai. And then, of course, we have the climax where he goes and shows his drawings to his father. Now, why am I telling you all this? How does it help us to understand story structure? I was talking to Jabbar sir and he turned around and told me that Dilip Saab was a big proponent of this. He says, read the script. Sit, Shobanu. Read the script over and over again and find out in this structure, how do I pitch my performance according to the structure of the film? You get what I'm saying? If I'm over here, will I be hysterical and have a high octane scene? No. You got to hold back, right? Will the all is lost moment be a high octane scene? No. It's about searching inside of your soul. So you should know at that point of time, any writer, any director over here should. When I started wanting to be a director, जो बचपन से मेरी ख्वाहिश थी, what was the first thing I did when I decided that now it's time to be a director is to learn writing. Even if I'm not going to put one word on the page. Steven Spielberg said that in one interview. Please, directors, learn writing. I am saying, please, actors understand writing. You'll know how to pitch yourself in a situation where you turn around and say, at the midpoint, what's happening? We are kind of friends, but we are not friends. That's not that's not the culmination of the film. It's just a midpoint. You're halfway there. It reminds you, another thing about the midpoint is it reminds you what the movie is really all about. Why are we watching this movie? It'll tell you the midpoint. Now this is mota. It takes us a lot of time to understand these things. For you to gather it over, even make notes will be very difficult. But I am telling all the young actors in the room, how do you pitch yourself? How do you find the sur? How do you find the rhythm? How do you find the rhythm of the dialogues? And Sudhir Joshi had told me, Sudhir Joshi. I said, Sudhir, how am I doing? Very well.